It's that basic white bitch, you know, that drives the Kia Soul named Carly. And I'm drinking a Stewart Spike seltzer tonight. Kelsey, what are you drinking?
A nice Chianti. Treated
That's a little
myself to $10 wine.
I'm Alex. I'm drinking pineapple Moscato right now.
Leah, this is my last sip of pink wine.
What about you, Brandon? Our side commentator.
I had a glass of the Chianti wine as well, and the bees knees.
The bee's knees.
What's the password, everybody?
Password.
These.
The bees knees. What's the password, Kelsey?
The
This
bees
is from
knees.
that party you didn't invite me to.
You were in another state.
You weren't invited to a party in your own dorm?
This is when she moved out.
Oh.
We had it on a different day of the week.
We did it as like a 2020. Oh, it's gonna be a great year party, and then
I think
that's like where we started out as. And then every person who came in the door, they had to answer the password correctly, otherwise they were spanked.
That's so annoying.
All right, so we already introduced ourselves, and this is Scooby-Doo. This is actually a joint presentation I made with Leah.
I would like to tell everyone that this presentation is going to be about us rating different Scooby-Doo movies. We're all gonna participate. Pretty much, maybe not all, but like most of the classics we've got. And you know, I think we should just dive right in.
So on to our first one. Leah, do you want to take the lead? Do a drum roll for us.
Okay, I'll do a titty roll.
So how this is gonna go is that we all rate. We're gonna discuss it, and then we're gonna give our own individual ratings in this little slot up over here. And just make sure your text isn't huge so we all can see each other's ratings. So our first one that we're gonna discuss is Scooby-Doo in Where's My Mummy? Alex, you raise your hand.
I have a question. What if we don't remember the movie or we haven't seen that one?
If you have any questions, you can ask me or Leah or anyone else who does remember parts of the movie.
Because there's some that on here that I'm like, I vaguely remember and have probably seen, but it's been a very long time.
What about Scooby-Doo and Where's My Mummy? How do you guys feel about this?
I feel like I like this one. I like mummy stuff.
Does anyone remember anything about it? Does anyone want to
Okay,
talk
there
about
was
it?
this one scene that was crazy for me because you see that like red thing that Shaggy's holding. So they have this scene where the bad guys, who you can see are like those creepy zombie whatevers, they actually hypnotized the gang. Like, it was really scary to me as a kid because Fred and Daphne and Velma were like, because they were being mummies and they were going after Scooby and Shaggy and vice versa. And it was crazy. And I was like, holy shit, they're turning on each other. I think I had like a nightmare from it.
See, I love this movie just because of like these assholes. Like, she was kind of like a total dick, but at the same time, she was kind of like this cool treasure hunter that I kind of wanted to be when I grew up. And she was also like really mysterious and stuff. Yeah. And then this guy was kind of just like there as like the muscle and stuff.
Weren't the bad guys like pretty obvious in this one? Like, it was obviously just them the whole time.
Yeah, but then you also had that twist though where it was like Cleopatra, like they wake up Cleopatra and she comes back to life as a mummy, and that was like really like creepy to me. Yeah.
Maybe I might do an 8.5 even. I don't know. I have to watch it again. I definitely watched a lot as a kid.
Mine is half. I don't remember it super well. Like, it looks so familiar.
For me, I think it's a 7.46.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I would even give it like higher, like 8.5 or something, but like the other Scooby-Doo movies are like so good. This one is too, but like,
yeah, but that's like, this one wasn't like I feel like I like this one and I don't remember it super well, which is also like tells me I'm like, it wasn't one of my favorites, so it was like,
yeah,
decent but not like amazing.
Brandon, you haven't seen this?
This looks really familiar. I'm
Wow.
not sure that I've seen it either. It looks so familiar, so I feel like I have.
I feel like I may have seen that at
Super
some
well.
point, but I certainly haven't seen it in any recent decade, at least.
It's like I know I've seen it, but I don't remember it super well, so that makes me feel like it's mediocre.
Next up, we got my personal favorite, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
This is a good one.
It
It's
is
a really good one
Yeah.
because you have the introduction of the Hex Girls, and it's kind of like it gives you a good Halloween-esque vibe. And I honestly really didn't see the twist coming, especially with like the guy that they were working with the entire time. Like I started to see it very closely at the end when he was just like kind of like talking with them and stuff, but it was just like kind of crazy how in depth it was, especially when the witch literally, and it was like a literal witch, like she dragged him down into the book with him and they got stuck in that book together, and he was an author.
I love how Scooby-Doo, like, not to get ahead of myself, but I feel like with around this era with Witches, Ghosts, and Zombie Island, they were like, oh, the monsters actually being real, or that's a thing we can do. And they did it a couple times, and it was really interesting what they did.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah.
And it's because it's just a couple of them, so then it makes all the rest of them more interesting, because then every time you're like, well, we don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah. I know some of the ones with them being real, like, freaked me out as a kid too.
Sure.
Zombie Island scared the shit out of me.
But we're getting there. Don't even, let's not, because we're getting there.
Do you have the live action on here?
Oh, that's our plot twist. Let's keep it.
Let's not talk about that at all. We're just gonna let it roll through. But one thing I did want to mention though is that like also like Hex Girls, they made a lot of people gay. Plus
a lot of people.
A decent amount, pretty much everyone here. But except for Alex, because you know, straight one. But
Sorry.
But but also it's like the ghost herself, she wasn't the whole movie. She was just like a good 10 minutes of it, you know what I mean? They spent a majority of the plot on just like the town itself and everything else that's happening. It was like a typical Scooby-Doo, like what you expected. Oh, it's someone in the town, and then it's like, oh, when you expect it's this person, then it's like, oh no, it's actually something completely different, and then the ghost pops out and it's like, oh shit, this is even worse than I ever expected it to be.
I will say the Hex Girls are pretty though. I can appreciate people being pretty even if I'm straight.
All right, on to the next slide.
This is a tropical storm warning.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen this one.
Is this the one that opens with a hypnosis scene, sort of?
I think it's more along the lines of like pirates get, if I'm remembering it correctly, because I didn't watch this one too in depth because it was kind of one of the later ones, and it was kind of one of the mediocre ones where they were pumping them out like 2 times a year. But this one, it's pretty much like the basic story where it's like, this is where it ties into Halloween, where I think it's like it's some type of pirate. I don't think it's Blackbeard. It might be Blackbeard, but it's like they get taken over by these pirates that are zombies, but I don't even remember if they're actually zombies though. Let me look it up real quick.
They're not. I remember this one.
But wasn't there a scene at the end though where it's like they actually saw a zombie ship that could have possibly been
Yes.
It was like a ghost ship?
Holy shit. I'm remembering this movie piece by piece. I remember the blonde guy with the thing in his mouth. They were like on a cruise ship, and there was
I think
like
that's Fred's father.
show. Huh?
That's Fred's father, right?
Oh
They
my
were on the
god.
same thing. So they're in the Bermuda Triangle for this one.
Bermuda
They're
something,
on
of course.
they're on like what Leah said is a cruise ship, and then it kind of gets taken over by these pirates, and they have to figure out who they are and whatnot, and blah blah blah. And it's like they encounter like ghost pirates and different things like that, and it's just like a pretty much like a kind of a campy. Oh my god, no, you didn't see that. I didn't give it a rating yet. But yeah, this was like 6.5 for me.
Yeah, same. It's alright. Nothing about it was too stand out. They did include Fred's dad, I think, which is interesting.
That's an interesting image of him.
Yeah, it is. What's going on there?
That looks a little weird.
So we got Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster. Definitely a classic in our college dorm.
That's the one that I think I own.
I think I own every other single one. So this is when they go to Scotland. They show the Highland Games in it. They also meet Daphne's cousin, who also lives in a castle, I believe. And then they find out, someone's dressing up, or like there's a Loch Ness Monster, and a lot of people believe it's real. And then it turns out, it's not real. It's just a bunch of different people actually pretending to be the Loch Ness Monster to gain tourism, and it's a bunch of other different things. And then I remember there's one shot at the end of the scene, or the end of the movie, where it's like, that could actually be the Loch Ness Monster. So it was kind of cool.
They
like,
love to do that at the end, like, but is it? And also, you guys remember there's like this really good song in this. I could even sing it. I know it by heart. It was such a good song. But like when they're like kind of running from it, there's like this banger of a song.
It's like the Highland. I remember what you're talking about.
That we'll always be brothers forever. Da 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 da.
How is singing this tonight?
Leah's is a little better than ours.
I was robust. That came out better than I imagined it coming out. I don't know what happened.
You were like putting effort into that.
Also, that was like my deep voice. Like that doesn't come out. It must be the wine. 9.5 because of that song brings it up to a 9.5 for me.
For me, the best songs are either the one song in Zombie Island or the Hex Girls. Anything by the Hex Girls.
Definitely Hex Girls gonna put a spell on you.
This one's kind of an obscure one. It's one of the ones before. This is like 80s, and it's Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
It sounds familiar, like I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't know if I've seen it.
I think it's kind of like they stay in this like haunted house, and then they meet a shit ton of different people, and it's like they meet this old Civil War captain in it that's a ghost, and like they obviously see the Headless Horseman.
Let me tell you, when I was a kid, I watched this movie, and this is how I felt. I felt like I remember thinking there's so much, like Scrappy, and lots of people don't like Scrappy, right? But different three Ghost brothers who are also from a different franchise, so that's kind of different. And then they kept meeting these other people too, and I was just like, bro, like I can't focus.
Yeah, there was just a lot going on in that movie, and that was during Shaggy's like red shirt phase. And it was also when they introduced
the red shirt's
Scrappy.
weird.
Yeah, the red shirt throws me off. And it's also like the three brothers reminded me of the Three Stooges for a long time.
It was like a weird franchise they were trying to push, and I just wanted to kind of pay attention to Scooby, no offense.
Wait, Leah, do you remember these two down here? It was like she really liked Shaggy, but then this was like her brother or her cousin or some shit, and he got like jealous about it.
I just remember the fucking guy looking really weird, and I couldn't pay attention.
We were looking up when this came out, and we also found something that comes out this year called Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I used to watch Courage.
I love Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I wonder if the woman who played Muriel is in it, because she just recently died.
No.
Yeah, she did. That was. I don't know if how long ago.
That was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
She is in it.
Your boobs look so good, Alex.
Someone's missing their rating.
No, it's just really small.
Brandon, what's your rating?
Well, just go with the populace.
It's like it's a movie.
I've never seen it, but I just hate the animation a lot.
It's an old, really old style animation.
Also, it's like a Scooby-Doo meets Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Ew.
Then we're on to one of the most famous. Yeah.
Slapping alien cheeks.
So I was texting my boyfriend, and apparently, drunkenly, I wrote instead of we were writing Scooby-Doo movies, that we were eating Scooby-Doo movies, and I didn't notice until he texted me back and he's like, eating?
Yeah, so for me, I feel like it's like more of a 9.5. I
Yeah,
wrote
wait,
I'm sorry.
It's like a 10, but an ironic 10.
Yeah, I got excited. It's a 9.5.
I just love the fact that it's like it has like the hippie influence to it, because it's like, oh, they finally introduced someone who's like on Shaggy's level with that kind of like, also his song with the whole groovy thing.
Best song.
Dog romance?
Oh man. Yeah, and then they actually, that twist alone of them being aliens threw me off for the longest time.
What do you think of their design? I thought it's so, she looks like she'll break if you throw her when she's an alien.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was like so unexpected, that twist. I was like, oh my god, like that's crazy. And like they just come out of nowhere and save them. And then it reminds me of the ending to E.T. when they're just like saying goodbye, and I like cried during like when I saw it. I was like, no, you're supposed to get married and have kids.
And then of course they got happy after they were offered the Scooby snacks, like.
Yeah.
This movie makes me think jackalopes are real.
Yeah, and the golden retriever, adorable. That was like one of my favorite parts about it. I love golden retrievers.
What was its name? Layla?
I don't remember their names actually.
I don't
That
know
sounds really familiar. I feel like you're at least close, Leah.
Yeah, like, and I don't know how I recalled that.
Now I gotta Google it.
Yeah, honestly. This is important business. We need to know. You physically cannot look like Daphne looks in that frame. Like, you would just die. You would just not be alive at that point.
Crystal was the girl.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Crystal.
What's the dog's name?
We have to know. It's totally Layla. Like, I just like feel it.
If it's not Layla, Leah's gonna be like so pissed.
Yeah. Will everyone hear?
Let's not.
That was so violent. Edit that out.
What's the name?
Amber.
Amber.
Where the fuck did I get Layla?
You were like at least close to.
I was so sure.
I also like how it's just like a picture of a golden retriever, and it's like Amber is an alien, is a reptilian alien from an unknown world.
I love the design on them, on their alien.
So this one is another obscure one. It kind of
I
comes.
have 110.
Oh my god, I remember this.
I might have 2 10s because I forgot about this one.
Oh my god.
I don't know if I've seen this one.
I remember seeing this one.
So good.
This one's pretty good. I didn't watch it too often, but it is pretty good. It is during Shaggy's red shirt era with Scrappy and stuff, and a lot of people don't like Scrappy, but it's like kind of like during the 70s, 80s.
Wait, I have a
They
question.
had a lot going on.
Why is his shirt green in the like ad for like the film, and then his shirt is red in the actual thing?
I
don't
noticed that
know.
with the other one too. With
But a lot of the other ones are like that too. I think there were 3 or 4 from this era where it was like it showed he actually had a green shirt and it was actually red.
I love this one.
So I'm just kind of going with like, I don't know.
Wait, who
saw
gave
this
it
when I was a kid, and like maybe I'm mixing this up in my head with the one with all the ghost, the Casper looking guys. But like, I don't know. I thought I couldn't pay attention to all the characters. We're like,
I just have a lot of nostalgia for this one. This is the one that I watched like every Halloween.
Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire. This also is the second introduction, I believe, to the Hex Girls. They were also in this one. It was when they were in Australia, and it was during like this kind of international rock concert, and all of these bands kept disappearing. And one of the Hex Girls were one of the bands, and they ended up disappearing during it as well. And then it happened that it turns out that the band that originally went on a hiking trip a year before was actually pretending to be the vampires. and they staged this entire setup to where this vampire over here with like the clouds around him and stuff, that it was like all animatronics and stuff, and it was all like they used wind and different things like that.
I feel like the Hex Girls is one of the ones that brings this up because we all like the Hex Girls.
Really, everyone was
Yeah.
like it's definitely above 7.
For me, it's a 7. It was always really good to watch, but it wasn't like my favorite.
Well, this is one like in comparison, this is one of the ones I remember more compared to the other ones. So I feel like that's why I gave it a little bit higher.
Got the Hex Girls, so that bumps it up.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, we all like the Hex Girls.
Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. I feel like this is one that you don't automatically think of, and it's pretty underrated, but at the same time, every time you see it, it's like, oh my god, that was one of the best.
I like that one. That one I remember.
It's when they get trapped in the video game, for anyone who doesn't know, and then they meet their visual counterparts who are from the original era. And I love when like Daphne, like the two Daphnes are like comparing their different outfits, and then the two Scooby-Doos are like sniffing each other up, and they're like just like talking to each other, and I absolutely just love it. And also like the Velmas didn't really change except for the tones of the colors. What did
There's
you
not
think?
enough color variation when he's red. It looks better when he's green with the whole group.
They also changed Scooby's collar, I feel like, just to like differentiate between the two too.
Because I don't think his collar was ever red before that, unless it was like a really old one.
That's
Is
like
this
the one
the
thing
one
I
where they're
remember.
like in the amusement park for one part of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they meet their other counterparts. And then they take on their most famous villains.
This might be a 9.5. I'm changing that.
Yeah, that's why I put this one's a pretty good one. That's why I put it up pretty high. Like this is one I remember and like.
So I gave this one a 10, and I think that this movie, like narratively, is really good. It sets up so many things. Like they'll have stuff in the first stage that is like also in the last stage, like foreshadowing, and like there was foreshadowing with the bad guy. Like he was kind of obvious, but there were a couple people who could have been. And also just like at the end when they meet themselves, like the goosebumps.
Yeah, I think this one had like a really cool story to it. Like there's a like I love like I always love the Hex Girls and stuff. But like a lot of those have like a more typical story. This one was really interesting.
I want to do a presentation like this for Magic School Bus episodes now.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like as a movie itself, I would probably like give it like an 8 or 9. But as a Scooby-Doo movie, this is like the best to me. Like Zombie Island is also like very, very good, but for me, like this is like
Okay. The last and final one, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
The obvious 10.
Obviously.
I'm like I was saving my 10 for that one.
Yeah, so was I. Nothing else deserves a 10 when this exists.
I'll say 10. Why didn't she look like she got kicked in the crotch?
You don't remember that scene where Velma's in the air?
Not fully, no.
Actually, I feel like that happened several times.
It's a meme where it's like Daphne's like, "Oh, you look great," and then Velma's like, "Yeah, maybe from where you're standing," and it's literally like she's like looking up her skirt, and they're making fun of it, where it's like they're both lesbians for each other.
I will say though, the fact that that's a GIF, it looks like she's thumping the door.
I thought it was kicked in the crotch.
This movie genuinely freaked me out because
Oh, yeah, this scared me as a kid.
it was so good, but it was just so freaky at the same time because it's like, first of all, you have the zombies and like just like the whole ghost atmosphere, and they really did good with the ghost atmosphere of just like get out, beware, like writing it behind them as they're filming, and then a bunch of other things, and it's like these little clues, and then all of a sudden you have like the introduction to cat people, and I'm like, what? Like it's so out there but so well orchestrated.
Yeah, I feel like this is one like as a kid it freaked me out, but then when I watched it as I was older, I was like, this is so good. Because then you're also past the point where you're like, this is terrifying because the monsters are real and it's like real vampires and stuff. And then you watch it when you're older and it's like an animated cartoon and you're like, this is so good. This is so good.
Also, just Terror Time,
Yeah.
best song out of all of them, except for Anything by the Hex Girls.
Now that song is in my head.
The animation,
You didn't include the very underrated Scooby-Doo Batman crossover.
Oh, I wanted to do it by 10 of them. So this is like there are 10 films. I could always do like another. Lee and I can do always like another one.
We should include the live action.
Yes, the live
animation
action.
was like,
I want to watch that. That's good. I love the
Like,
live action.
look at Daphne's bangs. Like, they were never so floofy like that. Like, was there even another movie that was animated like this? This was so cool.
So I'm pretty sure it goes in chronological order. This one came out in 97 or 98, and then Witch's Ghost comes right after this, and then Cyber Chase comes right after this. So it slowly got like worse in a sense from like
got like more corporate.
Those are like the three of the best ones.
Yeah, so the best ones are from the beginning, and then it slowly gets worse, but then you have those few gems like in between where it's like, wow, this is actually connecting back to like Scooby-Doo and stuff. So out of all of these, what would you say your favorite movie was? Mine, Witch's Ghost, absolutely. I do love Zombie Island, but Witch's Ghost will always have like a special place in my heart.
Zombie Island. I was saving my 10 for Zombie
I
Island.
feel basic, but like it's just objectively the best one.
Yeah.
Objectively, this, I don't know. Probably this might be the best, but Cyber Chase is my favorite.
Ooh,
Cyber Chase is like my close second.
That's what
I was
like a
so-
close second, and then like Hex Girl, and then like anything with the Hex Girls, like right after Cyber.
Bro, this movie gave me a nightmare, and I did not watch it or forgive it for years. Let me tell you. So we were all, me and the cast of Scooby-Doo were in a barn, right? And this dream really like came from the scene where she was like melting their little wax figurines, and the barn was on fire, and everyone's skin was melting off, and it was like a dream, and I couldn't run. I was like, ugh. It was so scary.
What about you, Brandon? What's your favorite?
Well, I say that I rewatch all of them in a very narrow window of time, so that way I can make a firm evaluation.
But what's yours off the doubt?
Right now, which one do you remember?
I really like the cyber one. I remember that one fairly well.
Thank you guys, but we do have one special thing for you, right, Leah?
Plot twist.
All right. So we're gonna do a little thing for you guys. We want to see your opinions on 2 different films, and we're gonna kind of do a little versus. So how do you guys feel between these 2 films? The Scooby-Doo versus Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
I'm trying to remember which one Monsters Unleashed is.
Monsters Unleashed unleashes like all of their original, because it starts out where they're in a museum and it shows like the different costumes each of their villains wore, and then they ended up later on they found out that there's like a machine that can transform the actual costume into an actual monster itself, and then they end up fighting all of their original monsters.
Yeah, and then the first one's the like stereotypical one on the island and everything.
Yeah, this is just such a classic.
I feel like that one, because I do remember Scooby-Doo 2 now that you like say that more, but yeah, I feel like it's one I remember a lot more, and it's like kind of classic. They also that one, like, I don't know about the second one because I don't remember it as well, but I know the first one had like several of those like kind of like subtle adult jokes. Like I saw that meme where like Shaggy meets the girl named Mary Jane, and she's like, that's my favorite name.
Or when they body switch and Fred's like, I'm a girl, cool, and like looks down his shirt or something.
Yeah, like they have all the like subtle adult jokes that you like appreciate so much more when you watch it when you're a little older.
So I remember Scrappy was in Scooby-Doo 1, so I'm gonna have to say Scooby-Doo 2, just because it brings back all the old villains and stuff in a new, fresh way. But it's like they also meet, like they go to the old hangout that they used to be in. It was like an old treehouse or whatever, and it was kind of just like going back in the day.
Like I feel like
The first one was cool though.
I want to give my opinion. So, I agree that it's really cool to see like all the original monsters revisited, and I did enjoy Scooby-Doo too, but like I think I like Scooby-Doo 1 more because it was more emotional in Scooby-Doo 2. Like they had this whole giant arc where it was like the power of friendship. Like that's what saved them, and like they were like, we gotta get the gang back together, which was also kind of a thing in the first one, but it happened more like the circumstances forced in. Like I don't know. I just also really like. Do you guys remember how Mr. Bean was involved?
I was just about to say, I don't care about the emotions.
What?
I'm just voting for Scooby-Doo because of the Mr. Bean robot.
I don't remember the
Not
Mr.
crazy.
Bean robot.
Oh my god.
That was the main villain, was Mr. Bean.
I kind of remember this. Yeah.
Wait,
And
it
then
was
it,
Mr.
like,
Bean?
opens up and it's Scrappy-Doo piloting a Mr. Bean robot.
Yeah. The last
Oh,
20
alright.
minutes of that movie
Yeah,
are
I
actually
think the first one was so much more memorable, and I don't I don't love Scrappy-Doo, but I don't hate him enough to dislike the movie. You know what I mean? Because
that's what the movie was.
It's just
though.
hilarious.
It
yeah,
was
that's what I mean. It's just
This movie is so funny.
that's what I mean. This movie is great. It's so
It's in a Mr. Bean robot. That's hilarious.
fun of how everyone hated Scrappy. Like in it, like Fred was like, I thought we said never to speak of that thing again.
yeah, they made fun of Scrappy in it.
I also just grew up watching Mr. Bean, so I remember being a kid and being like really excited that Mr. Bean was a Scrappy-Doo robot in the Scooby-Doo movie.
But I do remember reading somewhere that Velma was originally written as a lesbian, but they the producers or the studio wrote it out, and they gave her because they were going to introduce, I think, someone in the second movie as like her love interest, but they ended up introducing a male instead of a female.
The guy is like really annoying in the second movie. Like I remember him. Like that whole arc felt forced as hell to me.
Yeah, so I'm actually remembering that, and I'm actually gonna have to go back to saying that the first one is actually real, not even just like agreeing with you guys, but specifically just for even that.
Yeah.
But I think the original reason just for saying Scooby-Doo 2, and I didn't remember much about the original movie until you guys were describing it, but also just the fact that Scrappy was in the first one, and I was just like, but I didn't remember that they actually made fun
I
of
just
Scrappy.
looked this up. I just was looking at like funny stuff from like.
They also had better music too in the first one. Now that I'm remembering it.
I was looking up like funny stuff from the first movie just to like look for jokes I didn't remember and stuff. And I'm pretty sure this is in there because I feel like I vaguely remember it now that I see it. But I see a meme that's like it was like Velma and Fred, because I think they were together for a bit in that movie. Not like
what?
Not like dating, but I think they were like not like dating, but they were like in the same place together. For a while.
Okay.
They were like
Well, they changed bodies, right?
Yeah, because I think they might have. But Velma was like, I know all you care about are swimsuit models, and Fred's like, no, I'm a man of substance. Dorky chicks like you turn me on to.
I remember.
Like literally. Also,
and I'm like, I remember that now.
I think we can appreciate that this cast is perfect, and that this person who plays Shaggy also still continues to voice him in various different roles as well.
Also, Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because in Buffy they call themselves the Scooby Gang.
Lady who plays
Yeah.
like very, very pretty.
And the fact that she ended up marrying Freddie Prinze Jr., who plays Fred too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have like I think 2 or 3 kids together in real life. I think, what is it, Frank Welker? He also continued voicing Scooby-Doo in this. So let's do a rating list. So let's do the top, like the rating for movie 1 on top, and then we'll do rating for movie 1 on the bottom.
We movie 2?
Yeah, sorry.
The first movie is the one where Scooby like surfs on a fire extinguisher, right?
Yeah.
No, that's the second one.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, yeah, you're right.
That's like how he beats it. It's like Fred passes it to him, then this power of friendship and surfs on
It's just like circle. I
Which
think that.
fine, and it was fun, but like for not fun it's fine, but for me I go in expecting like a fun Scooby adventure. So like Yeah, I want to change that to an 8 actually, because it's still very good. That was fun.
I gotta end with one of the best songs. Thank you guys so much. This has been Drunk College, and we just reacted to Scooby-Doo. All the different, or top 10 movies, plus, the live action. Thank you so much for joining in. Kelsey, do you have a threat you'd like to threaten people with?
Yes, subscribe or I'll put the spell on you.